Hey, good morning everybody. Thanks for coming back again. I really hope you're enjoying my videos. It is snowing. Started about 9 o'clock this morning, and there is probably 2 inches of snow on the ground, and it's supposed to snow until 9 o'clock tonight. Last week in my video, I gave some of my thoughts about what I would do if I were buying a lathe, and today I want to continue along that line, and I want to, once you buy a lathe, I want to give some ideas of what you might need once you... All right, I'm now on my camera. Easy wood tools, roughing gouge, and you start with the roughing gouge to get a cylindrical shape, and then to do the fine work you can move over to the easy wood tools. Me personally, after I've gotten a piece of wood to a cylindrical shape, rough shaped, I switch over to a small skew. I like using this. I keep a diamond hone handy to keep it sharp. I rarely go back to the grinder to sharpen it totally because the grinder removes a lot of material. Those tools, a roughing gouge and a spindle gouge, will get you started into pin turning, especially if you're turning wood. Then next on my list is, for pin turning, you need a pin mandrel, and that would be this device. Make sure that you get the mandrel that matches the taper of your headstock on your lathe. Mine is a number 2 Morse taper, and this pin mandrel I got from Penn State Industries. I've had it for a very long time, and it does the trick just perfectly. Once you get your pin mandrel, you come home, you set up your lathe, you've got some tools, you've got your pin mandrel, then you turn a pin. Pin turning is very easy. It's, like I've said in the last video, it's where I wish I would have started when I started turning. You get home, you have your tools, you have your lathe, you have a pin mandrel. Then you want to select a piece of wood. This is a piece of maple I picked up off of a wood pile at a friend's house, and he said, "I'm going to burn that." And I said, "No, I'm going to turn that into something." And he said, "You can't turn that into anything." And I said, "Well, I will turn it into a pin." And he said, "You're not going to turn that into a pin." Well, I will. And a simple piece of firewood is all you need to turn anything. A bowl, a spindle, a candlestick holder, or a pin. It really doesn't matter. A piece of wood is all that you need. Now, when I'm teaching people to turn, or they come over and they say, "How do I do this? How do I turn a pin? Can you help me?" And I show them the tools that they need, the pin mandrel to put the piece of wood on, but I express to people, go get a piece of 2x4 in a 6 or 8 foot length. If you have a chop saw, cut it up into pieces. If you have a table saw, cut it into 1-inch square pieces on the bandsaw. 6 inches long, 1 inch square. Bring it back and put it on the lathe between centers and practice turning cylindrical shapes. And I mean that literally. Just turn it into round. If you can turn pine with a roughing gouge like this, get the piece of wood round without knocking it off of the lathe, and you can knock a piece of wood between centers out very easily. Here I have a set of centers on the lathe with a piece of wood in there. Now, granted, I wouldn't be spinning with this. I would be using a Spur Drive. Wow. I would be using a Spur Drive like this. It has the cross section on it and the point, and that drives into the wood, so it turns it and keeps it from free spinning on the lathe. And you just turn that piece of wood to a cylindrical shape. I'm having a hard time with that word. And then, if you would like, get it turned as smooth as possible, then sand it down. You can make a pen from a piece of pine, and it can look really amazing if you take the time to sand it very smooth and then put a simple finish on it. Once you've learned how to turn, sand, and put a easy finish onto a pen, turning it on the lathe on a mandrel, then you learn how to assemble the pen with a pen press or something as simple as a clamp. You can use quick grip clamps. Put the pieces of pen in here and clamp it down and squeeze it together. This will work. I used this for a very long time before I bought an actual pen press. Then, once you're stepping up your game, you buy a pen press, you buy 25 pen kits, you give them away as presents, and you will give away 75% more pens than you ever sell when you first start out. Everybody thinks, wow, I can make money doing this. You can, and I did make money turning pens for a long time. You went out, you came home with a lathe. You got some simple tools. You read the owner's manual on how to set up your lathe. You take and you practice turning wood on the lathe. You get familiar with your tools. You get familiar with the speeds of the lathe and how it works. Start out turning simple cylinders. Once you've acquired doing that and it's coming out to your liking, then you step up your game and start off. There's 500 different kind of pen kits in different magazines from different companies. Start off with slimline pens, but start off with the slimlines, and I suggest starting off with wood. When you switch to acrylic, acrylic is messy. It gets onto everything, and it's dang near impossible to get your shop cleaned up once you've done it. And just show you an example here. That is all acrylic from the last 3 pens that I turned. And I even swept the floor this morning before I started my video. And that is all acrylic underneath the lathe right there. you can go out and buy a used lathe. That's your choice and dependent on your finances. I saved up to get this lathe and I went and got it. You can have a lathe in a garage, make a workbench, put it on there, put it on a countertop, find out how to turn pins. You can look at my previous videos and I show how to do that. Learn how to finish the pins and get the best finish possible, and just keep practicing. A lathe requires your utmost attention. You have to have a face mask. There's no doubt, no way, no how that you can turn without one of these. I hope that answers questions about what to get when you first start turning with the lathe. The process of going from spindle work to bowl work is necessary, in my opinion, because it gets you acquainted with the lathe with a small piece on the lathe that is not so dangerous. Once you are able to do pin work and small spindle work, then you can step up and start doing small bowls. And then you can get, if interested and so driven, you can get a bigger lathe and do bowls of a larger diameter. And that gets really fun. That's really... Hey everybody, my name's Kevin. Thanks for watching. If you make it this far, I really appreciate it. I didn't mean to get long-winded. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. All right, where's the button?